Hello, future professionals. Welcome to day 5 of Top 100 Coding Question Analysis. Today, we are challenged with the question to print the Fibonacci series of length n. Before solving this question, we must know what is Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series is a series where the first number is 0, second number is 1. Third number onwards, the next element or the number would be the sum of immediately preceding two numbers. For example, third number is the sum of 0 and 1, that is 1. Fourth number would be the sum of 1 and 1, that is 2. To get a complete understanding on what is Fibonacci series, we shall first try it out on the pen and paper method. As we know, the first element is 0. The second element would be 1. Third element onwards, it is third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth until n. The numbers would be the sum of preceding two numbers, that is immediately preceding two numbers. Here, third numbers immediately preceding two numbers are 0 and 1. Their sum is 1. For fourth, the immediately preceding numbers are 1 and 1. Their sum is 2. For fifth, the immediately preceding two numbers are 1 and 2. Then their sum is 3. For sixth element, the immediately preceding two numbers are 2 and 3. Their sum is 5. For seventh element, the immediately preceding numbers are 3 and 5. So their sum is 8. For eighth element, the immediately preceding two numbers are 5 and 8. Their sum is 13. And this series goes on. Now that we have understood it in pen and paper, we shall now look at the logic. The logic is that we must initialize a list with first two numbers as 0 and 1. Then, based upon the length that is given by the user, we print the output. If the length asked is more than 2, then we use for loop to calculate the new numbers and add it to the list. Then we print the items from the list till we reach the length of the series. Now that we have understood what is Fibonacci series and the logic behind it, we shall start coding. Let us first initialize a list called FIBOList with the first two elements, that is 0 and 1. Next, let us define a function to get the user's input. I name the function as getUserInput. Here, we initialize n to the value that the user inputs. We shall return the value of n. Next, we shall define a function to validate the input of the user using validateNum function. It gets the parameter n, where it uses if condition with isNumeric string method to find whether the string or the input that is given contains numbers or not. If it contains numbers, we return true, else we return false. Next, we shall define a function to convert a string data type to integer data type. It gets the parameter n and uses the int method to convert string data type to integer data type. Let's now return the value of n. Let's define function called FIBOSeries where it gets the parameter n. And we know that if the user enters a value as 0, that is the length of the series as 0, we shall want the user to enter a valid length of the series. Next, if the user had entered the length as 1, we print the first element of the list. If the length provided is 2, then we print the first two elements of the list. Else, if the user inputs a length more than 2, then we enter the crux of the program, where we have to find the new numbers appended to the list and then print the items from the list until we reach the length of the series. Here we use for loop where I is in the range 2 to n. Why 2? 2 is because we already have two elements defined in the list. Now that we find the new numbers by indexing to the immediately previous two elements of the list to find the next number. Now we shall append the new numbers to the list. Now that we have calculated the new numbers and appended to the list, it's time that we print the output. First, we shall print Fibonacci series and then iterate through the list to print the numbers. Now that we have defined all our functions, it is time that we call the functions. Let's call the function getUserInput and store the return value in the variable len. And we shall call validateNumber and store the return value in isValidNumber variable. If the number is valid, we shall now convert the string data type to integer data type by calling the function convertToInt. Else, warn the user to enter a valid input. Now that we have converted the string data type to integer data type, it's time we call the function named FIBOSeries and pass the argument as len. Let's now check the code from top to bottom to find any warning signals. Now that we find no warning signals, let's run the program. Now let's enter the length as 0. We get the output, enter a valid length of the series. Let's now try giving 1 as the length. We get the Fibonacci series with the first element. Let's give 2 as the input. We get 0 and 1. Let's now give 5 as the length. We get 0, 1, 1, 2, 3 as a series. Let's now give 10 as the input. We get 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. Now that we have successfully completed the program, I hope you would have got the best out of this video. I recommend you subscribing to our channel to get more such interesting videos.